Hi everyone, I thought that I'd do a quick video just as an insight into like a typical hours training session that I would have with Kamal Hussein over in Oldham. I've been having regular coaching with Kamal now since 2020, and that has really brought my game on tremendously. He's an excellent coach, he has lots and lots of experience. His son Amir is a top level player. And I know that he's picked up, sort of like hints and tips from Chinese coaches, European coaches. So he's got a real mix of influences in his coaching style. So this video will have a look at the way that, like I say, a typical hour session is split up. So once I've done some general stretching, loosening up exercises, we'll start off with forehand drive that will then become forehand loop, just to kind of like get a feel for the ball, get my eye in. We'll then move on to Kamal looping at me and I will block back. You'll notice with this that I'm not just simply putting the bat in the way, it's what we call an active block. So I'm just adding a little bit of my own pace and spin to the block. It just gives me a little bit more control. You tend to find that if you just purely put your bat there, then you're at the mercy of the incoming spin. So it can be a little bit more difficult to control. Just adding a little bit of pace to it will increase the control. We'll then move on to one block, one counter. This is a drill that we've introduced probably in the last sort of 6 months or so, and it's introducing a shot which is the counter. A shot I didn't really have, like I say, sort of 12 months ago, so introducing it in the last few months and then really kind of like training it has really helped. You tend to find that playing against better level players that they will loop and re-loop, so purely just blocking the ball back, you're in trouble really, unless you're very, very good and you're very comfortable defending, which I'm not particularly. We're looking to just be, again, just a little bit more active, a little bit more proactive to put the loop under pressure. So as you can see here, it's like just one block and then one aggressive counter. What I'm thinking about with the counter in particular is basically no real backswing, just putting your bat to the ball and then just accelerating through it. So a very, very short, sharp stroke. You can see it here now, this counter to counter work, so really having to get ready quickly. If you take much of a backswing, you'll probably end up, you're going to be too late and you'll top edge it. So just purely just put the bat to the ball and then accelerate forward in a little short, sharp motion. It's a really effective shot, and it's starting to work its way into my game, which I'm really happy with. A lot of the time people aren't expecting this, people are expecting you to just block it back. So yeah, it just puts them under a lot more pressure. So again, this is another fairly new warm-up exercise that we've introduced, which is the forehand to forehand counterloop away from the table. I've seen quite a few clips on YouTube of Marlong and Fan Zhendong doing this and making it look very easy. It's actually surprisingly difficult. The ball really kicks up to you, so to actually get the right timing point is very difficult. You'll notice here that I do end up, I can probably do sort of 2 or 3 and then I'll end up top edging it like I did there. The ball is just, it's kicking up at you and it's so difficult to find the right timing point. But this is something that will hopefully come into my game as it develops, and I'll probably need to do it against better, stronger players who will keep throwing heavy loop after heavy loop, and sometimes I'll get forced back off the table, and rather than passively fishing or lobbing, I can be a little bit more aggressive and try and get in on the attack. So this one, quite straightforward, quite standard, just backhand to backhand, fairly close to the table, driving with a little bit of spin. I'm really trying to focus on keeping my bat up. I have a tendency to let the bat drop quite low and spin up. Still do a little bit, still need to kind of come up and roll over the ball, but just trying to keep the bat generally higher, and this is something that we'll see in some of the drills as well, just trying to keep the bat up rather than letting it drop. On to first main drill now, what Kamal called the 3.4 which is forehand wide, forehand middle, forehand from the backhand side, and then back all the way across the forehand wide. Slightly different to one of them that we typically do is forehand, backhand. So I would normally be hitting a backhand from the backhand corner, but this one is forehand from all three places. Really, really tough this. Main focus is on the footwork and the movement from hitting a forehand in the backhand corner, getting across to the forehand wide. So doing it quite well here actually, but it really is tiring actually. Legs feel like lead by the time that you're finished. But again, it's quite nice. And the main focus is on the footwork element rather than the actual drive itself. This is the second main drill, which is backhand, forehand middle, backhand, forehand wide. This is a great drill. It's really focusing again on footwork. One of the things that I'm really happy with though is in the transition from the forehand to the backhand is that I'm keeping the bat nice and high. I definitely have a tendency when I play matches to let the bat drop a little bit, which causes me problems when I transition from the forehand to a backhand, and even during backhand to backhand, I let the bat drop and then I bring it back up again, and I have a tendency to lift the ball long. So I'm really trying to tell myself to keep the bat high. Again, we're adding an element of like a real match situation here with Kamal serving the ball in, and then I'll either flick or open it and then get into the drill. Okay, this is the third main drill, and it's an irregular drill. Now the last two are regular, this is an irregular, which is 1 or 2 backhand, 1 or 2 forehand. We always have a laugh because I hate irregular drills, much prefer the regular ones, but they're extremely beneficial. Again, one of my main focuses is to keep the bat high, especially in the transitions. And especially when I'm playing it's not too bad on my forehand so much because I can actually spin that up quite well, but it's particularly important for me in the backhand side to keep the bat up nice and high, and I can drive forward on it. Again, to sort of simulate or make it more realistic to a match situation, we're starting this drill off with either a push or an open up, so it's in effect like, you know, receiving a serve and then getting into the drill. So one comment that I would make is that I'm very happy with the look of the footwork, nice and sharp, nicely on my toes, moving well from side to side, good in the transition from backhand to forehand. The only comment I would make is that I'd like myself to just stay that little bit lower. It's much more difficult physically to actually do this, especially when you're doing drills, but I just like myself to be a little bit lower when I'm playing the forehands. So this is the fourth main drill, which is a backhand push receive, followed by a forehand or backhand open up, and then we kind of like continue the rally. This is quite a good one for me because one of the things that I've really noticed in my my matches recently, and it's something that I have been doing for a long time, but I've started to get a lot more conscious of this now, and I'm really trying to make an effort to amend it, is the fact that I tend to, once I've either served or I've received, I then sort of naturally shape to hit a forehand. So I just move, rather than being in like a neutral ready position, I start shaping for a forehand, and if the ball then comes back to my backhand, I'm out of position and I end up giving a weak return, whether that's a backhand push or a backhand open up. So what I'm really trying to focus on is to stay a lot more neutral and almost be ready for a backhand receive, and then, well, obviously then switch to the forehand if the ball comes to the forehand, which is a lot easier to do. So this drill tries to encourage me to push the ball and then get into a neutral position, ready for either the backhand or the forehand, rather than just getting ready for a forehand, basically. So this is another great drill here. So it's basically 2 or 3 backhand block and then a forehand counter when Kamal actually switches to the forehand side. So lovely little drill because, again, going along with the theme of getting me to sort of stand my ground a little bit more on the backhand side. So basically making sure that I keep the bat nice and high, that I play a good control block, and then as soon as the switches, be ready to then really attack with a forehand on the counter. Obviously made a little bit more difficult by the fact that I don't know for definite if he's going to do 2 to the backhand and then he's going to switch, or whether he's going to do 3 to the backhand and then he's going to switch. Yeah, so great little drill really, that's again working on footwork, but also going from a more defensive block to an attacking counter. So this for me is a really important drill, forehand flick. This is something that I haven't really done an awful lot with over the last, over my entire table tennis career. Had the odd little practice, but tend to mainly focus on backhand flick. If the ball comes short to my forehand side, I will generally push it. Again, the forehand push is something I'm trying to work on a little bit, being a lot more aggressive with it. The problem can be though, if somebody serves short float or short side spin and you try and push that, you can very easily pop that one up and then they can attack it. So the idea with this really is making sure that you're stepping, get your foot well under the table, get your head nice and low, and also get your head quite close to the ball. Then just a little short, sharp snap through. You can see here actually that I'd say my technique has improved an awful lot really. I used to not really know what I was doing with it, to be honest with you. And even though my forehand loop is very, very good, I was almost trying to play like a shortened version of the forehand loop. This is completely different. In fact, if anything, it's a little bit more akin to the counter technique, which is just to put your back to the ball and then just roll over it. I think one of the main things as well with playing this shot is that you don't always have to play it really, really quickly. If you watch a lot of the top guys in the world, they will actually step in and really play an aggressive flick. You don't really need to do that for it to be effective. Even if it's quite a heavy backspin, you can actually step in and kind of roll the ball back. And then the main thing really is the placement, so making sure that you flick it nice and wide, or flick it down the line, almost into a right-handed player's body. Again, you can see here I'm mainly actually practicing flicking it cross court. There's a little bit more table to work with, so it's a very effective shot. Again, in terms of using it in a match, you don't necessarily have to be looking to flick all the time, but it's just a good, really good alternative and a surprise element from a forehand push. So here we have the final main drill. This is a backhand flick, recovery backhand, and then forehand to forehand counter. Really liking the look of what I'm doing here, actually. Get my elbow nice and high for the flick. So stepping in, elbow nice and high flick, recovery. So this involves quick footwork. So it's like a step in and then a very quick step back out again. Get yourself in position for that, the recovery backhand, and then switching across to the forehand to forehand counter. Again, just getting myself used to, again, going back to this whole theme of not wanting to try and get onto my forehand too quickly and starting to shape towards a forehand. So the actual playing a backhand flick, then stepping back very quickly and playing a committed backhand recovery, and then going across to the forehand to forehand counter is really, really good practice. Again, I like the look of everything that I'm doing here, and in particular my footwork. I think if you compare the footwork now compared to probably 2 years ago, it was a lot heavier on my feet, a lot more flat-footed. Now I'm a lot more on my toes. You can see as I'm playing each shot, there's almost like a little small sort of like hop after. So watch here, 1, 2. Yeah, so it's good, really good, kind of like good transference of weight, and like I say, staying nice and light and being able to move around effectively. And that concludes the hour's lesson. So really, really good session. Lots of good stuff worked on. Really happy with my progress. Obviously a lot more for me to work on, a lot more for me to improve. And hopefully there'll be some good drills there that you guys can use to work on and improve your games. I've got a lot more ideas coming for more insights into the stuff that I'm working on. If you've got any suggestions, anything at all that you'd like to know, or have any ideas for other videos that you'd like me to do, just let me know. Thanks, guys.